All right, take 329.
330, actually.
330.
Just kidding. It's good to see you guys.
Welcome to our front porch. We are been quarantined like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys are doing all right and staying sane to some degree. Getting outside, going on some walks and whatnot. That's what we've been doing to get outside the house a little bit. But we just want to make a short video for you guys for the KLB Godly Marriage class. As Mark and Kathy said last week, there's a lot of content and videos to watch, but we want to give practical examples of what we're talking about, and hopefully that helps you guys in your conversations and as you walk through this and watch videos and walk through the workbook together. And again, this is a hard class because we structure it for conversations to take place and not necessarily just lecture. And so we're just going to try to keep this quick and short, give some encouragement and more content for you guys to discuss as a couple.
Yes, it will be great. Hopefully a good conversation will come from this.
Yeah, so Mark and Kathy sent out a video last week talking about the roles of a godly husband, godly wife, and encouraged all of us to look at Ephesians 5 and kind of what does the Bible say, and painting a picture of what does the Bible say the roles of a godly husband and godly wife. Mm-hmm. And so we want to elaborate on that a little bit, and we're still in Love Dances, and so if you haven't watched Love Dances yet, I encourage you to go back, pause this, go back, watch Love Dances, and because we'll be using some of their emphasis and points that they made through that video. And so we're just going to quickly start, we're going to focus on both husband's role and the wife's role and things that we just talked about. And so first, we'll focus on the husband's role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great conversation, and the question in the video was that really prompted was, how can a husband love the wife sacrificially? So that was one question we got to talk through.
Yeah. And so how does husband love sacrificially? And one of the illustrations that was used was by Dr. Grudem, Wayne Grudem, and that illustration really stood out to me. I think I've read Ephesians many of times, and especially Ephesians 5, but one thing he emphasized is in Ephesians 5:28, Paul writes, "In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself." And so one thing that we were discussing, and I asked Heather, is how can I sacrificially love you? Because ultimately, marriage isn't about ourselves. It's not about us. It's about loving and respecting our spouse and cherishing them. And for husbands, sacrificially loving their spouse. And so that question sparked good conversation in our marriage. And one thing that came out that I can sacrificially love is first being intentional with our time, is making her setting time aside, prioritizing our time together. But then also one thing that I've learned about Heather over the last, I think, couple months here is for her to have a good day is to be productive, at least in something. And so me then knowing that, and knowing that in order for her to have a good day, she needs to be productive in something. And so creating opportunities and asking questions to figure out, have you been productive today? And if not, how can we be productive together? And that can be just something simple as doing dishes together. We don't have a dishwasher, so we got to do them by hand.
We are the dishwasher.
Or something of cleaning up other parts of the house or taking care of something that we need to do or whatever that is. And then also just how can we be spending time together, whether that's going out. Right now it's going out for walks. We're working on a puzzle together, playing games together, and so just being very intentional and spending time together. And that really, for me, starts with just asking questions of what will make you, what's that? Forget the question. Refreshed.
Today.
What will make you refreshed today? Is a good question that Heather has said that would help her throughout the day.
And the reason why I said that is because that feels like sacrificial love to me, because then Drew would be thinking first of my needs or desires that day and would be vocalizing that to me, which makes me feel known and loved and seen, and following through with that. So it was a good conversation.
Yeah. So for the wife.
Yeah, so for the wife, great video, and it was a great question that got brought up of, hey, as a wife, I can ask my husband, what is one or a few ways that I can show you respect? Maybe it's doing something, or maybe it's not doing something that actually communicates, articulates that respect that I have in my heart for Drew. But because we're all each individuals, there's certain things that communicate that respect to my husband where someone else might feel respected in a different way. So I got to ask Drew that, is how can I respect you? And what I learned was, for instance, yesterday he felt respected when he got to share with me something from his internship and his studies that he really cares about. And I was engaging with it. So if I heard you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you feel respected. One way is if you share something with me that means a lot to you and you care about, if I choose to actually engage with it thoughtfully and ask follow-up questions, and I'm actually engaging and not just sitting there like listening and being like, yeah, cool, then you feel respected because it's something you care about. Is that right?
Yep.
Good. Okay. And you could have corrected me too, but
Nope. You got it right.
Okay, so that was good for me to hear, because I just didn't know that was a one specific way that he could feel respected, and it makes sense because it's something that obviously you care about, and if I show that I'm engaged in that, then that makes sense. So that was one way that I'm going to be liking, just having my eyes open to how I can respect Drew in that way, and especially when he brings things up that he cares about, engaging with it fully.
Yeah, so this week as you're watching the content of Love, Dances, and working through the workbook, we want to encourage you that husbands, ask your wives of how can I sacrificially love you this week? And wives, have a conversation, ask your husbands, how can I respect you this week? And create that list for both husbands and wives, and allow that to stir up really good conversations this week. Mm-hmm. So that's all we have. I hope this was encouraging for you. Have any last words?
Last words is affirm your spouse today. Tell them why you love them. That can just add good deposits to the relationship, and job well done. Okay, we'll see you later.
Hopefully we'll see you soon.